Hi, I'm Hanbit, and I'm a pastry chef from Korea. Hi everybody, it's Hanbit here. 안녕하세요, 조한빛입니다. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to make amazing raspberry jam. And making jam is actually really easy because it's all about reducing it. And by reducing, I mean boiling the jam until the right moment. You might ask where I use raspberries, and I guess I'll start with jam on toast. And then I use raspberry jam on any other pastry products that require raspberry flavor. So once you learn how to make raspberry jam, you'll use it pretty much everywhere. To be honest, I think raspberry jam is probably the easiest out of all the jams out there. With strawberry jam and blueberry jam or any other types of jam, you might want to blend them or chop them into smaller pieces. Obviously, that depends on your preference, but I usually break them down into smaller parts. But with raspberries, you don't have to do anything. You simply use the raspberries as they are. So why don't we start right away? Right, so the ingredients. To be honest, there's not much to explain about the ingredients because I've got raspberries and sugar, and that's it. I know that some people add lemon juice to the raspberry jam recipe, but I don't necessarily do that because raspberries already hold quite a bit of acidity. In terms of the raspberries, I always use frozen raspberries. A, because it's so much cheaper, and B, fresh raspberries are only available 1 to 2 months out of the whole year in Korea. And finally, C, using fresh raspberries and frozen raspberries taste exactly the same when you reduce them into jam. So let's start. Raspberries go in, followed by sugar. To start, I'm going to use low heat because I want my sugar to actually dissolve in the raspberries rather than start burning. Just mix it a few times with your spatula to spread and dissolve the sugar. And once that's done, it's all about just reducing. Now the question comes down to how much you need to reduce it by. And I'm going to show you the test that I use, which I call the cold water test. And it gives you a very good idea of whether your jam has been reduced sufficiently or not. Now regarding the foam here, it's always a good idea to remove them because the foam doesn't necessarily disappear after you reduce it into jam, so I tend to remove it. Right, I know that I need to boil this further, but I've paused for now so that I can show you the cold water test. I'm going to take a bit of the jam and drop it in cold water and see what happens. You can see that the raspberry jam that I've dropped inside simply dispersed. I'm going to turn the heat back on and see what happens after I reduce this further. Do keep stirring because the jam will stick to the bottom and the side of the saucepan. You can actually visually see that this is being reduced. It's definitely less watery than before, and you can also see it becoming a bit sticky, right? Do stir it once in a while as the jam tends to stick to the side or the bottom of the saucepan. Great, that looks good. So I'm going to stop right here. One way to gauge the thickness of this jam is to actually scrape the bottom of the saucepan. And you can actually see that the jam doesn't come together because enough water has been evaporated. Well, why don't we try the cold water test again? Just look at that, it's completely different, right? The jam is coherent and it stays in one piece. Right, I'm done here. It's as simple as that. So now I need to try it. It's just good. Simply good. So, how was it? It's simple, it's quick, and it's delicious. So why not make it? Now that you've watched this video on how to make homemade raspberry jam, I'm sure you'll never buy it again. Simply make it yourself. Well, I'll see you next time with another amazing recipe. Thank you very much. 감사합니다. For more YouTube videos, please click here. If you want to take a step further with your baking and pastry, then please visit my website on www.hanbitshow.com. Thank you very much. 감사합니다.